Welcome back to our series, Evaluations in Special Education, how to get appropriate evaluations in all 8 areas. If we haven't met, here I'm Mayer Cunningham, owner of Special Education Academy and the Special Education Boss, training everyone that sits at the 504 IEP table to navigate and negotiate successful student outcomes. So today we're going to be talking about something really important called achievement. If you go back to video 4 of 8, where it talks about the 7 Gs, go back and watch that video because it's going to be tied to this one a little bit. When we're looking at if a student may have a specific learning disability, which is a federal eligibility under IDEA, depending on where you are in the United States, different states use different criteria to identify a specific learning disability in a student. However, there is a relationship between their cognitive profile and their achievement. And so it's very important that we test to make sure that we've done one of two things: identified or eliminate. And so there are 9 specific learning disabilities, 9. And so there's 4 in reading, 2 in math, written expression, oral expression, listening comprehension. And so it's very important that we test to identify if this in fact is an area. And also we want to see, where does the student produce, right? So when we look at your cognitive profile, your 7 Gs, we're looking at your brain skills, really how you're cooked, right? How you got here on the earth. There's not much data that supports you can move those or change those. It's just how you're wired. However, when we look at achievement, formal achievement measures what you can produce, right? What we want the learner to produce from the instructor. So I always say that your cognitive profile is how you're cooked. Your achievement is what you can get out of your brain, down your arm, onto a piece of paper. And so let's talk about those areas that are usually tested by a school-based member. So those areas would be writing, reading, and math. And those are great. And depending on which test that you use, they each create a number of subtests. So writing, those 3 things we know are going to always be very important in education, right? Writing, that English language arts piece, that ability for your written expression, math computation, math calculations, and then of course reading, whether it's oral reading, reading fluency, silent reading, all the things, right? Phonemic awareness. However, it's very rare that you will see somebody on their own test in these other 2 areas. And I want you to test in these other 2 areas because they are actually categories of a specific learning disability. And they are, number 1, OE, and number 2, LC. And so OE is oral expression. And so if you followed me for a while, you know that I don't struggle with oral expression. Ask any of my teachers from the 70s, right? So oral expression is that ability to get out your thoughts in a way that's congruent, that it's understood by the listener. The second one is listening comprehension, right? LC. That's that ability to comprehend what is heard by the instructor, by your peers, by in relationship, right? If you have listening comprehension deficits, that's going to affect everything. That's going to affect your output and your production. So when I ask for formal achievement in testing, I always ask for 5 areas. You need to say this to the evaluator. They're not going to just know it by happenstance. So I will say I want all 5 areas of achievement. Number 1, reading. Number 2, written expression. Number 3, mathematics. Number 4, oral expression. And number 5, listening comprehension. I believe when you do all 5 areas of achievement in tandem with those 7 cognitive abilities, those 7 Gs, then you're going to have a robust evaluation that you can look at comprehensively to see, where does the student have strengths, where do they have deficits, and where might they have a deficit that's so severe that it rises to the level of a specific learning disability. I hope this was helpful. We'll see you guys in the next training.